stretch the water supply. From cloud seeding to landscaping incentives and to ag optimization, the most powerful tool we have is the choice every Utahn makes at the tap. Today we have the honor of hearing from Governor Spencer Cox and other water experts. The run of the show is as follows. We'll have Joe Williams, the Director of Division of Water Resources, Tage Flint, the Executive Director of Utah Waterways, Laura Briefer, the Director of the Salt Lake City Public Utilities, Governor Spencer Cox. We'll now turn the time over for Joe Williams.
We are here today because the numbers are clear. Utah is in one of its worst droughts in history. We're coming off one of the lowest snowpack on record, and we know that conservation and long-term water resilience are the only path forward. I am proud to share some news that, along with our colleagues, including help from the governor and the legislature, we've implemented some things that are going to help us get through this drought. Some of the things that we've done are metering our secondary water use. We have a large secondary water system in the state that can be used for outdoor watering, and historically a lot of that water use was unmetered, and the legislature appropriated $267 million, and we have got all of that funding contracted, and meters are being installed all around the state to help us better manage that resource. We are doing a landscape incentive rebate program where folks can convert their landscape and remove unnecessary turf and replace it with a water-wise landscape. This is saving about 215 million gallons of water annually. We've had 4,700 applications of landscape incentives, totaling $16.8 million within state funds and with our water district partners. We've replaced 7.3 million square feet of thirsty lawn with water-wise landscaping. We also have a smart sprinkler controller rebate program, and over 36,000 smart controllers have been installed in the state through that program, as well as 5,500 low-flow toilets. We also are implementing a growing water smart workshop program around the state where we will get water planners and land use planners in the same room to talk about the future planning and to better allocate that critical water resource as we continue to grow. We are also developing our unified water infrastructure plan. We know that we have a lot of aging water infrastructure in the state, and we are working to implement a prioritization and a funding plan to allocate the funding that we have in the state to the highest priority water projects. We will be publishing a state water plan at the end of this year, which will include a regional look at every area of our state and what we can do to better plan for our water future. We know that Great Salt Lake is a big concern as well, and our office is leading an effort on the Great Salt Lake Basin Integrated Plan, which will be published at the end of next year, bringing together the best ideas and resources for ways that we can help to shore up the Great Salt Lake. We also are holding classes and workshops and webinars all around the state to educate people on what they can do. We've appreciated the attention that the drought has brought on our water resources and the people that we hear from that say, hey, what can we do to help? And we know that one of the biggest things that we can do is reducing our outdoor water use. We have a lot of great programs that can help with that. As mentioned, this smart sprinkler controllers that can take the guesswork out of when and how much to water your lawn. We appreciate the landscape incentive program and our partners with the districts, the water conservancy districts around the state to help people make landscape choices that can help reduce our water use on our outdoor landscapes. We are also implementing the largest cloud seeding program in the nation that can help increase our snowpack, and we will continue that program into the future to try to get as much as we can out of the rain and the cloud and the storms that do come through. And with that, I will turn turn it over to Tage Flint of Utah Waterways.
Good morning. My name is Tage Flint. I'm the Executive Director of Utah Waterways. We're the nonprofit that has been charged with our partners, the water districts over here and our state partners over here, to send the message out to Utahns in a broader and a higher scale about water conservation going forward in the state of Utah. We generally talk about our residential and our urban water use in our business, and we're here to talk about that again today. Look, I've been in this business a long time, and I've seen a lot of droughts. This is about as bad as one as I've seen for a one-year drought, and it ought to be taken seriously. But I'm also here to tell you that this is not our last drought. This is going to happen again and again and again as Utah normally experiences either wetter than normal years or much drier than normal years. We rarely have a normal year in the state. But it also serves as a wake-up call for all of us that there are future droughts on the horizon and that we need to do much better in terms of how we use our water, especially in our residential settings. We need to get below that 65% of all our residential water being used on our outdoor landscapes. It's just simply too high. And so we're here to encourage our residents to do something different with their landscapes, using this drought as the time when we start what I like to call hardwiring our landscapes so that we are drought proofing our landscapes for all future droughts, not just this one. That every year when we irrigate our landscapes, we are irrigating with a much less water volume per year than we used to do. It's not easy, but it's not that hard to start slowly and turning our yards into something that uses much less water. That way, when we come to these drought scenarios, we just simply do not have that drastic drop off in our landscapes that we've experienced in the past. That also goes with our new landscapes. Anytime that we're in new development or putting new yards in, no matter where we are in this state, it's time to put those new landscapes in with a much more water efficient and drought resilient type of a landscape. We know it can be done. We have been much better than in the past, we've been much better now than we have been in the past in our water use. We've already dropped about 20% of our per capita use in this state, and it's time to start dropping another 20% so that we can be much more resilient when these droughts occur. That's my message this morning. I'd like to turn over some time to Laura Briefer from Salt Lake City.
Thank you, Tage. Yes, I'm Laura Briefer, Director of Salt Lake City Department of Public Utilities. We are proud to provide drinking water to nearly 400,000 people across Salt Lake County, including Salt Lake City and our neighboring communities. We're also responsible for sanitary sewer collection and treatment, as well as stormwater and flood control services. Welcome to this picturesque Parley's Canyon watershed and Little Dell Reservoir. On a morning like this, which is a little different than we've had recently, it's easy to appreciate not only the beauty of the place, but also the importance to our community. A few little facts about Little Dell Reservoir. It was completed in 1993 to strengthen both our drinking water supply, improve flood control, and enhance wildlife habitat. The construction of this reservoir was a collaboration between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Metropolitan Water District of Salt Lake and Sandy, Salt Lake County, and Salt Lake City. This reservoir can hold up to 20,500 acre-feet of water and plays a critical role in Salt Lake City's water supply and flood management systems. Its value was especially evident during runoff in 2023, not too long ago, when record snowpack created flooding risks downstream. Little Dell helped protect thousands of homes and businesses across our community, and this year the reservoir will serve an equally critical role by capturing as much runoff as possible to help meet water demand and amid this record low snowpack and early runoff. I want to thank our residents for their long-standing efforts to conserve water. This allows us to stretch our water supplies even as we grow. These efforts will improve our long-term water security and avoid significant costs associated with developing additional water supplies. And so importantly, this conservation ethic supports Great Salt Lake. I also want to thank our state agencies, many of who are here today, our university collaborators, and our Conservancy District collaborators for their tremendous support of water conservation programs. There are a lot of accomplishments we could be proud of as we've worked to conserve water. For instance, since the year 2000, Salt Lake City's overall water demand has decreased by 25%, while our overall population has grown by nearly 20%. With that, we've been able to grow, prosper, and improve our water resiliency. Our long-term water conservation allows us to return our treated wastewater flows to Great Salt Lake, rather than reusing that water for other municipal purposes. This represents a continuous contribution of about 30 to 35 million gallons of water per day to Great Salt Lake. Our conservation also allows us to participate in a recent donation of 2,500 acre-feet per year to Great Salt Lake in partnership with the Great Salt Lake Water Enhancement Trust, Metropolitan Water District, and Sandy City. That is equivalent to releasing the entire capacity of Mountain Dale Reservoir, just located nearby, to Great Salt Lake each year. These long-term conservation successes are significant and very worthy of recognition. But this year's extremely low snowpack, reduced runoff, and the dire condition of Great Salt Lake make it extremely clear that we must do more. In response, Salt Lake City declared Stage 2 of our drought contingency plan, requiring mandatory reductions for all government facilities within our water service area and voluntary reductions from our residents and businesses. Our goal is to reduce water demand by 10 to 25 million gallons per day during this drought. In the months ahead, we will continue working together to protect this vital resource, strengthen our drought resilience, and support the health of Great Salt Lake. Water has always connected our communities, our economy, and our environment, and the choices that we make today will shape Utah's futures for decades to come. And with that, I will turn it over to Governor Spencer Cox. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to all of our speakers today. Thank you to the media who is here with us. We appreciate your attention to this very important issue that's facing our state. It's been fascinating to go back and read addresses from governors in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. What Tage said is absolutely correct. There really isn't such thing as an average year in Utah. It seems we're either in drought or we're flooding. And I'm grateful for the wisdom of those who came before us, who built reservoirs like Little Dell and others throughout the state to help with both of those things. As you just heard Laura talk about how important this reservoir was in the boom years of 3 years ago and the bust years of years like today. We are coming off a winter that was the warmest on record by nearly 3 degrees. Unfortunately, these above normal temperatures are expected to continue through the summer. Although I will tell you, today is a very cool day, and we've decided amongst ourselves that we figured out how to solve the drought. We're going to have a drought press conference every day, so we get pelted in the face with rain and have cooler temperatures. But while there are signals of above average summertime rain possible for southern and eastern Utah, we expect any relief will likely be minimal compared to the deficit we face. The most sobering data, of course, comes from our snowpack, or the NOPAC as it's been referred to. April 1st snowpack was just 2.7 inches of snow water equivalent, the lowest ever recorded since 1930. To put that into perspective, 14.2 inches would be normal for April 1st. And that great 23 winter that we've referred to, there were 28.4 inches of snow water equivalent. Because of the heat, precipitation that should have fallen as snow fell as rain and never reached the reservoirs. So our snowpack provides approximately 95% of Utah's water supply. It is our checking account, and right now our checking account is running low. We are relying on our savings account in our reservoirs, which is what you're seeing here today. Thanks to aggressive management during the wet years, our statewide reservoir storage currently sits at 70% of capacity. That's good news for Utahns. While that is roughly average for that time of year, it's 15% lower than it was at this time last year, and our savings is being spent a little faster than we like since the checking account is empty. Some of our smaller reservoirs, which only hold a year or two of storage at a time, are already in rough shape. What you see in our reservoirs today is all we have. There's no extra runoff, but rain doesn't fall or doesn't refill these high mountain reservoirs as much as we appreciate the rain. We can't bank on what Mother Nature might deliver next winter, and so we have to be even more cautious just in case this is more than a one-year event. Precipitation isn't promised, and conservation is a choice that we can all make and must make at this time. Conditions vary again throughout the state, and many of our neighborhoods are already making hard choices. You already heard about the town of Emory. I can tell you that the town of Fairview isn't far behind the town of Emory right now. We've already had major cutbacks where we live. Midvale City has implemented a 25% drought surcharge. The Weber Basin Water Conservancy District has mandated a 20% reduction, delayed secondary water, and will likely end the irrigation season about a month early. On the Hobble Creek system, water rights were cut to 1853 priority levels on May 1st, a full 40 days earlier than last year. And even the Bear River drainage system, which had a better snowpack than any other part of the state, saw runoff levels in April that were only half of what we recorded during the 2021 drought, which was one of Utah's worst. The list goes on and on. Now, we have enough water in storage to get through this year. That's, again, the good news. If we treat every gallon as a finite resource, we need aggressive conservation across all sectors. To our residents, I want to thank you who waded to water and those who are following the state's weekly lawn watering guide. About 2/3 of our residential water is used outside, so please, please, please be vigilant and don't overwater. Check your sprinklers so they're watering plants and not pavement. And as you heard Tage say, this is one area where we can make big improvement, and we just must. We should all, wherever you live, I want us to take a lesson from our friends in Washington County. St. George has done a great job of this, of cutting back on the amount of watered lawns in the state. We need to be doing that all across the state, and we have many programs to help us with that. To the thousands of Utahns who've taken advantage of those programs and swapped grass for water-wise landscaping, thank you. We aren't saying that all grass is bad. We want grass in the right places, but that it doesn't belong everywhere. There are beautiful water-wise plants and trees better suited to Utah's climate and conditions. We like to say if the only time you walk on your grass is to mow it, it's probably not that necessary. We want places for kids and families to play, but it doesn't need to be everywhere. To our municipal leaders, I especially want to thank you, the cities who are leading by example, cutting indoor water use at government facilities and sticking to irrigation budgets. To the Metropolitan Water District of Salt Lake and Sandy, your move to send 2,500 acre-feet for the next 10 years to the Great Salt Lake is historic. It proves that when residents and businesses conserve, water can reach the lake. Thank you for your efforts. I also want to thank the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for implementing water-wise landscaping techniques and installing smart controllers across church properties in Utah, which are estimated to save 400 million gallons of water in the Great Salt Lake Basin. They've also donated and leased substantial amounts of water to the Great Salt Lake and encourage members to be good stewards and natural resources to conserve water. They are truly showing what institutional stewardship looks like. I want to thank our farmers and ranchers who are leading the way by optimizing water use, and in drought years, they are almost always among the first to cut back or have their water supply reduced while continuing to invest in long-term solutions to protect Utah's water future. As part of a statewide effort, as you heard, to strengthen water resiliency, $276 million has been allocated to the Agriculture Water Optimization Program. Again, thanks to the legislature for their help there, and producers are stepping up, matching state investments with their own dollars. To date, farmers have invested over $50 million of their own funds to implement these improvements at their own expense to protect our water resources and our food supply. With 100% of the state in drought and weather uncertainty ahead today, I have signed an executive order declaring a statewide drought emergency. This declaration is about more than just paperwork. It facilitates the use of emergency resources, raises awareness to ensure a unified, coordinated response. This is a record-breaking challenge, but Utahns are record-breaking. We can't control the weather, but we can control the tap. So let's make 2026 the year we prove once again Utah's resilience is deeper than any drought. Thank you.
I like that line that he ended on there. You can't control the weather, but we can control the tap. And you can tell from this executive order here calling for a drought emergency here in the state of Utah. The situation is very serious, and that's why we heard those other speakers as well. The water experts in our state talking about the seriousness of our situation. Emery County, for example, 5% of normal. They've called for a cessation of all outdoor watering.
And
I mean,
already.
it's a very serious already. They're not going to water outside at all during the summer here. So it's clear we've got real problems. Basically what this does, though, it releases funds and also has a group called the Drought Response Committee review hardships connected to our drought here.
Because so much depends on our weather here in Utah. I mean, we've talked extensively about farming situations, and then everything else has a trickle-down effect. So the governor making a big move today with this drought declaration statewide. And it is kind of ironic. You probably heard the wind, and we've been talking about some rain and the gray skies. The governor joking even that we're going to do a press conference every day, and maybe this will happen. You know, Murphy's Law. Who knows? Wishful thinking.
It is also kind of interesting that the statistic, we heard so many stats during this, but one of them is that we've cut down 25% of our water use in the state of Utah while the population grows. So clearly there are things that Utahns can do, and they're asking Utahns to do it now because we're well below average. You know, about 230 inches of snow on the top of the cottonwoods. 2 years ago we had more than 900 inches. So we're in a very dire situation
It's
now.
unbelievable what a year can make, a year or two. Well, and it's not what you can do now, it's what you can keep doing now. When we had the governor here visiting with us on Good Day Utah a few weeks ago, he says, you know what, you are doing a great job, so just don't let that slide. Keep it up, and we can, together can make a huge difference.
We're going to take a short break and be right back with more of Good Day Utah.
You're watching Fox 13 News, part of the Scripps News Group.
Well, school year is almost over, but if your teenager doesn't have a summer job lined up yet, there is still some time.
Sure is. Fox 13 News reporter Tina Giuliano is at Sapori Italian Bakery and Cafe learning how to be a barista there. Hi, Tina.
Well, summer is right around the corner, and really some students are getting out of school, so it's really that time to find that first job, that summer job. I'm Fox 13's Tina Giuliano, and so we're learning about one of the most popular jobs, which is being a barista. Recently in Utah, we learned that a lot of teens are employed, and this is one of the top jobs to do. So we're at Zapori, and we're learning about different ways to make a great cup of coffee. We're here with Azura. She's gonna, not only is she the baker, so she's making all the sipuli and all these Italian delicacies. I feel like I'm at home, Azura. I feel like I'm in my nonna's kitchen. That's good. That's good. So tell us what's the best way to make an espresso. You said that you have different brands that you use. Show us what you do.
Usually we use Lavazza or Borbone. They are two very important and very famous brand in Italy. And we can make we can make or an espresso, or if you want, we can make macchiato.
Yeah.
There is another.
Let's do macchiato.
Okay, let's do it. It's sometimes people ask, can I get a macchiato, a large one? And I say, no. The Italian macchiato is just espresso and a splash of milk. That's it.
All right. So there you go. This is your tip for being a good barista. All right,
just if you want to be a good barista in an Italian bakery.
Yeah, the best way. What else would you want to do?
Yeah.
This is how you espresso pull. So you have to put the weight down.
Yes.
And then you put it in there.
Yeah. We are gonna get a little bit bigger cup in order to add a little bit of milk, because it's just a splash of milk. That's it.
Perfect. Then you just put it in the cup, and then that's what it is. But it also is having good customer service, right?
Oh yeah, it's very important. Being kind, always smile to the, because it's giving a good morning. I think
that's the best part,
yeah.
Especially when you're giving coffee. A good morning. Excellent. I'm so excited. And so, Azura, when you guys opened this, you said that the community was a really big part of doing this kind of job. Is that right?
Oh, yes. They helped us a lot. We opened our first location in Ogden 3 months before the pandemic. So it was not a very good timing for us. But the community was great. It was great. We survived because of them. That's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try this now. And I can already feel that it's going to be great.
Oh, yes.
Bellissima.
Buonissimo.
We're just going to, continue making coffees this morning, and I'm going to do my best to now make a coffee for myself. Anyways, guys, sending it back to you.
That was kind of loud. It sounded like dental tools in a rancid mouth, so it must taste really good. They mixed that right up.
The frothing, I like that noise.
The frothing.
Hey, if you're looking for a summer gig yourself, new research says these are the best cities to look. You're going to have to travel. The study by Wallet Hub found that South Burlington, Vermont, of all places, ranked as the best city for summer jobs, followed by Scottsdale, Arizona, and Rapid City, South Dakota. Cities were measured across two main categories: youth, job market, and social environment and affordability.
Seattle gearing up for the FIFA World Cup 2026. So the Volunteers set to play a big role during the games held in the city. This week, they picked up their packets and their uniforms. On Wednesday, organizers revealed the neon blue and green uniforms World Cup volunteers in Seattle will be sporting. One volunteer says he's excited to be a part of this global sporting event.
I love the city. I love soccer, and this was just one more way that I can really get engaged with it. And I know it's probably once in a lifetime opportunity to really get engaged with FIFA, especially as a volunteer, especially engaging with my city. So I'm really excited to invite and welcome people here from all over the world.
Meantime, the Museum of History and Industry in Seattle is opening a new exhibit to celebrate the unifying power of the sport.
With warmer weather just around the corner, travelers are getting even more from Airbnb, including some exclusive FIFA World Cup experiences. So starting this summer, Airbnb is now adding several new services, including car rentals, grocery delivery, airport pickups, and surprisingly, hotel bookings. Kind of seem like their competition, but they're including it. The company says it's featuring hotels that, quote, feel like Airbnb, with a promise to price match if you find them elsewhere at a lower rate. Travelers in select cities can also now get groceries delivered right to their rental before they arrive and have the host stock the fridge. But be on the lookout for special World Cup experiences coming to the platform, as well as even more added experiences by local experts across several food culture and events like a tour guide. But of course, it's all going to cost you.
Airbnb wants their cut.
Of course.
They just want to make some money off of this like the rest of us. You can catch all the FIFA World Cup action right here on Fox starting